She texted me while I was parked at a truck stop outside Albuquerque, New Mexico. My name is Andrew. I am 52 years old. For the past 28 years, I have been a long-haul trucker. I drive cross-country routes, sometimes gone for 2 weeks at a time. My wife is named Jessica. We have been married for 22 years. We have no children. She said she never wanted them, and I respected that. I spent most of our marriage on the road, working 12-hour days, sleeping in the cab, and sending money home every month. Jessica stayed in our house in Tucson, Arizona. She told me she was happy. She told me she loved me. I believed her. But then, one Tuesday night, everything changed forever. Jake's revenge brings you the shocking betrayal that left a hardworking man with nothing, ****. The text came through at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. I had just finished a 14-hour drive from Denver, Colorado. My back ached, my eyes burned. I was eating cold fried chicken from a gas station when my phone buzzed. The message read, "I have found my soulmate here. I took everything because I deserve it." I stared at the screen for a long time. I read it again. Then I read it a third time. I did not understand. I called her. She did not answer. I called again. Nothing. I sent a text asking what she meant. She did not reply. I sat in my truck for an hour trying to make sense of it. Jessica was at a yoga retreat in Sedona, Arizona. She had been there for 5 days. She told me it was a wellness thing. She said she needed to reconnect with herself. I did not argue. I never argued. I just worked. I opened my banking app. My stomach dropped. The joint account was empty. $73,000 gone. I checked the savings account, empty, $32,000, gone. I checked the credit cards, maxed out, $15,000 in charges. All made in the past 3 days. I sat there in the dark cab staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. I did not yell. I did not cry. I just sat there. Then I texted her back, "Sure, heal your soul with my money." She did not respond. He thought it couldn't get worse, until he drove home to an empty house. Stay with Jake's revenge to see how one man fought back from total devastation ****. I called my buddy Vincent. He was a trucker, too. We had known each other for 15 years. He answered on the second ring. "What is wrong?" he asked. "Jessica, clean me out." I said, "What?" She emptied the accounts. She maxed the credit cards. She is at some yoga retreat in Sedona. She says she found her soulmate. Vincent was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Do you have a lawyer?" "No, get one tomorrow." "Do not wait." I hung up. I did not sleep that night. I just sat there staring at the dashboard trying to figure out where I went wrong. By morning, I knew one thing for certain. Jessica had been planning this. She did not just wake up one day and decide to leave. She waited until I was on the road. She waited until I was too far away to stop her. She thought I would not fight back. She was wrong. The sun came up over the desert. The sky turned orange and pink. I watched it through my windshield. I thought about calling Jessica again. I thought about begging her to explain. I thought about asking her why, but I did not. I started the truck. I drove south. I drove fast. I needed to get back to Tucson. I needed to see what was left. I needed to understand what she had done. The drive took 6 hours. I did not stop. I did not eat. I just drove. When I pulled into our neighborhood, everything looked normal. The houses, the trees, the mailboxes, nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I parked in the driveway. I walked to the front door. I put my key in the lock. I opened the door. The house was empty. Not just empty of her things, empty of everything. The couch was gone, the television was gone, the dining table was gone, the chairs were gone, the lamps were gone. Even the curtains were gone. I walked through the living room. My footsteps echoed on the hardwood floor. I looked around. There was nothing. Just walls and emptiness. I went to the kitchen. The refrigerator was gone. The microwave was gone. The dishes were gone. Even the coffee maker was gone. I opened the cabinets, empty. I opened the drawers, empty. I went to the bedroom. The bed was gone. The dresser was gone. The nightstands were gone. My clothes were piled on the floor in the corner. Just a heap of shirts and jeans and socks. I stood there staring at the pile. I did not understand how this had happened. I did not understand how she had done this so quickly. I did not understand how she had taken everything. I went to the garage. My tools were gone. The lawn mower was gone. The shelves were empty. Even the boxes of old photos were gone. I walked back into the house. I stood in the middle of the living room. I looked around. It was like I had never lived here. Like the past 22 years had been erased. I pulled out my phone. I called Vincent. I am at the house. I said. She took everything. 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 The furniture, the appliances, my tools, the photos, everything. Vincent was quiet. Then he said, "Get out of there. Go to a hotel. Call a lawyer. Do it now." "Okay, Andrew, listen to me. You need to fight this. You need to fight her. She is counting on you to roll over. Do not give her that." "I will not." I hung up. I walked out of the house. I locked the door behind me. I got in my truck. I drove to a motel on the east side of town. I checked in. I sat on the edge of the bed. My phone buzzed. It was another text from Jessica. "Do not try to contact me. My lawyer will be in touch." I stared at the message. I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not sadness, something colder, something harder. She thought she had one. She had no idea what was coming. From empty accounts to an empty home, he was broken. But Jake's revenge reveals the evidence that turned the tables, ***. Jessica and I met when I was 24. She was 23. I was working for a small trucking company in Tucson. She was a waitress at a diner where I stopped for coffee. She had blonde hair and green eyes. She smiled at me. We talked. I asked her out. She said yes. We got married 2 years later. I was 26. She was 25. It was a small ceremony, just our families. My dad was there. My mom had died 3 years earlier. Jessica's parents did not like me much. They thought I was beneath her. They wanted her to marry someone with a college degree, someone who worked in an office, not a truck driver. But Jessica said she loved me. She said she did not care what they thought. I believed her. For the first few years, things were good. I worked long hours. She worked part-time at a boutique. We bought a house in Tucson. Nothing fancy. Just a small 3-bedroom place with a backyard. I paid the mortgage. I paid the bills. I paid for everything. Jessica stopped working after 5 years. She said she wanted to focus on herself. She started doing yoga. She joined a book club. She went to spa days with her friends. I did not mind. I wanted her to be happy. I spent more and more time on the road. The money was good. The more I drove, the more we had. I thought I was building something for us, a future, a life. But Jessica was never satisfied. She always wanted more, a bigger house, a nicer car, expensive vacations. I worked harder. I drove longer routes. I stayed away for weeks at a time. She never complained. She never asked me to stay home. She just spent the money. Looking back, I see the signs, the little things I ignored. 3 years ago, she started going to retreats, yoga retreats, meditation retreats, wellness weekends. She said they helped her feel centered. I did not question it. I just paid for them. 2 years ago, she stopped calling me when I was on the road. She used to call every night. We would talk for an hour. Then the calls became shorter. Then they stopped altogether. She said she was busy. She said she needed space. I let it go. I thought she was just going through something. Last year she started spending more money. New clothes, new furniture, new everything. I asked her about it once. She snapped at me. She said I never appreciated her. She said I was never home. She said I did not understand what she needed. I apologized. I always apologized. A few months ago, she told me she was going to Sedona for a yoga retreat. She said it was important. She said she needed to reconnect with her true self. I said, okay. I was on a route to Seattle, Washington. I would not be home for another week anyway. She left on a Friday. She texted me when she arrived. She said the retreat was beautiful. She said she felt at peace. I did not hear from her again until Tuesday night. I spent the rest of the week trying to reach her. She did not answer my calls. She did not respond to my texts. I called the retreat center. They said she had checked out 3 days earlier. I called her friends. None of them knew where she was. I called her parents. They hung up on me. I sat in the motel room staring at the wall. I tried to piece together what had happened. I tried to figure out when she had stopped loving me. I tried to figure out when I had stopped being enough, but the truth was I probably never was. Jessica always wanted more money, more things, more attention, more everything. And I gave her all I could. I worked myself into the ground trying to make her happy. I drove thousands of miles. I slept in truck stops. I ate cold food. I missed holidays. I missed birthdays. I missed everything. And she still left. The next morning, I called a lawyer. His name was Gregory. He was recommended by Vincent. I explained the situation. I told him about the empty house. I told him about the bank accounts. I told him about the text message. Gregory listened. He did not interrupt. When I finished, he said, "Come to my office this afternoon. Bring every document you have. Bank statements, credit card statements, mortgage paperwork, everything." I went to his office at 2 p.m. It was a small place, just a desk, 2 chairs, and a filing cabinet. Gregory was in his mid-50s. He had gray hair and tired eyes. He looked like a man who had seen too many divorces. I handed him the documents. He looked through them carefully. He made notes on a legal pad. He did not say anything for a long time. Then he leaned back in his chair and sighed. "This is bad," he said. "I know." She emptied the accounts. She maxed the credit cards. She took everything from the house. And she did it all while you were on the road. That shows premeditation. Can we get it back? Maybe. But we need to move fast. We need to file an emergency motion. We need to freeze whatever assets she has. We need to prove she acted in bad faith. How do we do that? We show the court the timeline. We show that she waited until you were gone. We show that she took everything without your consent. We show that she is not acting in good faith. What if it does not work? Then you lose everything. The house, the money, all of it. In Arizona, Everything is community property. But if we can prove she acted maliciously, the court might rule in your favor. I nodded. What do I need to do? Nothing. Just let me handle it. Do not contact her. Do not respond to her texts. Do not engage. Let her lawyer do the talking. I left his office. I sat in my truck in the parking lot. My phone buzzed. It was another text from Jessica. I know you are angry, but this is what I need. I hope you can understand. I did not respond. I just stared at the message. She thought I would understand. She thought I would accept it. She thought I would let her go without a fight. She was wrong. I drove back to the motel. I lay on the bed. I stared at the ceiling. I thought about the 22 years we spent together. I thought about all the times I told her I loved her. All the times I promised to take care of her. All the times I believed we would be together forever. And I realized something. She never felt the same way. Gregory filed the emergency motion the next day. We requested an immediate freeze on all joint assets. We requested that Jessica return everything she took from the house. We requested full financial disclosure. We requested a hearing within 2 weeks. The court approved it all. Jessica's lawyer called Gregory 2 days later. His name was Douglas. Gregory put him on speakerphone so I could listen. My client is willing to negotiate. Douglas said she does not want this to go to court. She is willing to return some of the items from the house. She is willing to discuss the financial arrangements, but she wants assurances that your client will not make this difficult. Gregory looked at me. I shook my head. My client is not interested in negotiating. Gregory said, your client stole over $100,000. She emptied the house. She did it all while my client was working. We have evidence of premeditation. If this goes to court, your client will lose everything. Douglas was quiet for a moment. Then he said, that is a very aggressive position. It is the truth, Gregory said. Tell your client to return the money. Tell her to return the property or we will see her in court. Douglas hung up. I looked at Gregory. Will she do it? No, he said. She will fight, but we have the evidence. And when the judge sees it, she will lose. I left the office. I drove around Tucson for a while. I did not have anywhere to go. I just drove. I passed our old neighborhood. I passed the diner where Jessica used to work. I passed the places we used to go together. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. I went back to the motel. I sat on the edge of the bed. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Jessica. Why are you doing this? I thought we could be adults about this. You are making everything harder than it needs to be. I did not respond. She texted again. I know you are hurt, but this is not the answer. We can work this out. We do not need lawyers. We do not need court. Just talk to me. I turned off my phone. I spent the next 3 days going through every document I had. I pulled up bank statements from the past year. I pulled up credit card statements. I made a list of every charge Jessica made, every withdrawal, every transfer. And I found something. 6 months ago, Jessica started making regular payments to a man named Trevor. $500 a month, every month for 6 months. I looked him up online. Trevor was a yoga instructor in Sedona. He ran retreats. He had a website. His face was on the home page. Handsome, tanned, long hair. The kind of guy who called himself a spiritual guide. I called Gregory. I found something. I said, what? She has been paying a yoga instructor, Trevor, $500 a month for 6 months. Gregory was quiet for a moment. Then he said, that is it. That is what we need. She was having an affair. She was planning this for months. We can prove it. What do I do? Send me everything. Every statement, every receipt, every text message you have from her, I will add it to the motion. This changes everything. I sent him everything. I sat in the motel room staring at my phone. I thought about Jessica. I thought about the 22 years we spent together. I thought about all the times I worked late, drove through the night, slept in truck stops just to give her the life she wanted. And I thought about how she threw it all away for a man named Trevor. I did not feel angry. I did not feel sad. I just felt cold. Secret payments to her lover exposed the affair. Jake's revenge shows the courtroom showdown that brought justice, ***. The hearing was scheduled for the following week. I wore a clean shirt and jeans. I did not own a suit. I did not think I needed one. Gregory told me it did not matter. The judge would care about the facts, not the clothes. We arrived at the courthouse at 9 a.m. Jessica was already there. She was sitting with Douglas in the hallway. She wore a white dress. Her hair was pulled back. She looked calm. She looked like the victim. She did not look at me. We entered the courtroom. The judge was a woman in her early 60s. Her name was Judge Carolyn. She had short gray hair and sharp eyes. She looked tired but alert. Gregory presented our case first. He showed the bank statements. He showed the credit card statements. He showed the payments to Trevor. He showed the text message Jessica sent me. He showed the evidence that she emptied the house. Judge Carolyn listened. She did not interrupt. She just took notes. Then Douglas presented Jessica's case. He claimed she was emotionally abused. He claimed I was never home. He claimed she felt isolated and alone. He claimed she took the money because she had no other choice. Jessica cried. She dabbed her eyes with a tissue. She looked at the judge and said, "I was scared. I did not know what else to do. I sat there watching her. I did not recognize her. The woman I married would never have done this. The woman I married would never have lied like this. But maybe I never really knew her." Judge Carolyn looked at both of us. Then she said, "I will review the evidence and issue a ruling within 1 week. Until then, the asset freeze remains in place. Neither party is to remove any property or funds without court approval." We left the courtroom. Jessica walked past me without a word. Douglas followed her. Gregory put a hand on my shoulder. "You did good. You stayed calm. That is all that matters." Did we win? We will know in a week. But I think we have a strong case. I drove back to the motel. I sat in the parking lot for a long time. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Jessica. "You humiliated me in front of the judge. I will never forgive you for this." I did not respond. She texted again. "You are going to regret this. My lawyer says we can still win, and when we do, you will have nothing." I turned off my phone. I sat there in the truck. I thought about everything that had happened. I thought about the woman I married. I thought about the woman who stood in that courtroom and lied. They were not the same person. Or maybe they were. Maybe I just never saw it. Jessica called me that night. I did not answer. She called again. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. "Andrew, we need to talk. My lawyer says we can settle this quietly. No court, no drama. Just sign the papers and move on. It will be easier for both of us." I deleted the voicemail. She thought I would make it easy for her. She was about to find out how wrong she was. I lay on the motel bed. I stared at the ceiling. I thought about the road ahead. I thought about what I would do if I won. I thought about what I would do if I lost, But one thing was certain. I was not giving up. 1 week later, Gregory called. "We won," he said. I sat up. "What?" "The judge ruled in our favor. She said Jessica acted in bad faith. She said there was no evidence of financial abuse. She said that payments to Trevor proved infidelity. She ordered Jessica to return all the money. She ordered her to return all the property from the house, and she said if Jessica does not comply within 30 days, she will be held in contempt of court." I sat down on the edge of the motel bed. I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means you won. She has to give everything back. The money, the furniture, everything. And if she does not, she goes to jail." I closed my eyes. I did not feel happy. I did not feel relieved. I just felt tired. What happens now? She has 30 days to return everything. If she does not, we file for contempt. The judge will issue a warrant and she will be arrested. Will she do it? She does not have a choice. I hung up. I sat in the motel room staring at the wall. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. But I knew it was not over yet. Jessica called me that night. I answered. "You happy now?" she said. Her voice was sharp. "I am not happy. I am just done. You destroyed me. You took everything from me. You ruined my life. I did not take anything. I took back what was mine, what I worked for, what you stole. I loved you. I gave you 22 years and this is how you repay me. You loved me. You emptied our accounts. You maxed our credit cards. You ran off with another man. You tried to make me look like the villain. That is not love. That is betrayal." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I never wanted it to be like this." "Then you should not have done it." I was unhappy. I felt alone. You were never home. I was working. I was providing. I gave you everything you asked for. And it was never enough. You do not understand. No, I do not. And I do not care anymore. Just return what you took and leave me alone. I hung up. She did not call again. But she also did not return anything. 30 days passed, then 35, then 40. Gregory filed for contempt. The court issued a warrant. The police went to her apartment in Sedona. She was not there. They went to her parents' house in Tucson. She was not there either. She had disappeared. Gregory called me. She is avoiding the warrant, but she cannot hide forever. Eventually, they will find her. What if they do not? They will. And when they do, she will be arrested. She will have to return everything or she will go to jail. I did not say anything. Andrew, you did the right thing. She stole from you. She lied. She tried to destroy you. You had every right to fight back. I know. So why do you sound like you regret it? I thought about it. Because I spent 22 years with her. I thought I knew her. I thought she loved me. And now I realize none of it was real. Gregory sighed. I am sorry. I know that is hard, but you cannot let her win. You cannot let her make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself. I am not guilty. I am just tired. I understand. But this is almost over. Just hold on a little longer. I hung up. I sat in my truck. I had gone back to work. I needed the money. I needed the distraction. I took a route from Tucson to Salt Lake City, Utah. Then from Salt Lake City to Boise, Idaho. Then from Boise to Portland, Oregon. I drove. I worked. I slept. I tried not to think about Jessica. But she was always there in the back of my mind. A constant reminder of everything I lost. 2 months after the warrant was issued, the police found her. She was living with Trevor in a small house outside Sedona. They arrested her. They took her to jail. She spent one night in a cell. Then she called Douglas. He posted bail. Gregory called me the next day. She was arrested. She made bail. But she is scared now. Douglas called me. He said she wants to settle. What does she want? She will return the furniture. She will return half the money. She wants to keep the rest. She says she needs it to start over. No, Andrew. No. She took everything. She lied. She tried to destroy me. I want it all back. Every dollar, every piece of furniture, everything. Gregory was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Okay, I will tell Douglas." 3 days later, Jessica's lawyer called again. He said she would return everything. All the money, all the furniture, all the property. She just needed time. Gregory said she had 1 week. She did it in 5 days. A moving truck showed up at the house in Tucson. 2 men unloaded everything, the furniture, the dishes, the pictures, even the boxes of old photos. They put everything back where it belonged. I walked through the house room by room. It was like she had never left. But it felt different. It felt empty. Not because of the furniture, but because of what was missing. The trust, the love, the life we built together. It was all gone. The money came back 3 days later. All of it. $15,000. Transferred back into the joint account. Gregory had it moved into an account in my name only. I sat in the empty house. I looked around. The couch was back. The television was back. The dining table was back. Everything was back. But nothing felt right. I walked into the bedroom. I looked at the bed. I remembered all the nights Jessica and I slept there. All the mornings we woke up together. All the times I thought we were happy. I realized something. I was never happy. I was just comfortable. I was just used to it. I was just going through the motions and so was she. I went to the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator. It was empty. I had not bought groceries. I had not cooked a meal. I had not lived here since she left. I closed the door. I sat at the dining table. I stared at the wall. My phone rang. It was Vincent. "How are you doing?" he asked. I do not know. Did she return everything? Yes. So you won. I guess you do not sound happy. I am not. I just feel empty. Vincent was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "That is normal. You just went through hell. Give yourself time." How much time? As much as you need. We talked for a while longer. Then I hung up. I sat at the table. I thought about what Vincent said about giving myself time, but I did not want time. I wanted to move forward. I wanted to rebuild. I wanted to forget, but I did not know how. I spent the next few weeks going through the house. I threw out anything that reminded me of Jessica. Her clothes, her books, her yoga mats, her meditation cushions, all of it. I repainted the bedroom. I rearranged the furniture. I bought new sheets, new towels, new everything. I was trying to erase her, trying to make the house mine again, but it did not work. She was still there in every corner, in every room, in every memory. I realized something. I could not stay here. Not in this house, not in this city, not in this life. I needed to start over. I called a realtor. I put the house on the market. It sold in 2 weeks. I took the money and bought a small cabin outside Flagstaff, Arizona. Nothing fancy, just 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and a porch with a view of the mountains. It was quiet. It was mine. I kept working. I kept driving. But I took fewer routes. I stayed closer to home. I spent more time in the cabin. I learned how to cook. I learned how to fix things around the house. I learned how to be alone without feeling lonely. Vincent visited me a few times. We sat on the porch drinking beer, watching the sun set over the mountains. He did not ask me about Jessica. He did not ask me if I was okay. He just sat with me, and that was enough. One day, about 6 months after the divorce, I ran into someone I used to know. Her name was Carolyn. We went to high school together. She was a nurse at a hospital in Flagstaff. She was divorced, too. 2 kids, both in college. We talked for a while. She gave me her number. She said I should call her sometime. I did. We went to dinner. Nothing fancy, just a diner off the highway. We talked for hours about work, about life, about what we lost, and what we were trying to build. She did not ask me about Jessica. She did not pity me. She just listened. And when I was done talking, she told me her story about her ex-husband, about the lies, about the pain. We understood each other. We started seeing each other regularly. Not as a couple, not yet. Just as 2 people who were trying to figure out how to trust again. It was slow. It was careful. But it was real. One night, we sat on the porch of my cabin. She looked at me and said, "Do you ever regret it?" Fighting back. I thought about it. No, I regret believing her for so long. I regret ignoring the signs, but I do not regret standing up for myself. She nodded. Good. You should not. What about you? Do you regret your divorce? No, I regret staying as long as I did, but I do not regret leaving. We sat there in silence for a while. Then she said, "You know what I learned?" What? That you cannot make someone love you. You cannot make them stay. All you can do is decide what you are willing to accept and then live with that decision. I looked at her. Is that what you are doing? Deciding what you are willing to accept? She smiled. I am trying. Me too. We kept seeing each other. Slowly things between us grew into something more. Not a replacement for what I lost, but something new, something honest. I never heard from Jessica again after she returned everything. I heard through mutual friends that she and Trevor broke up about 3 months after the divorce. Apparently, he found out she had been lying to him, too. She told him she had money. She told him she was going to invest in his yoga business. She told him they were going to build a life together. All lies. When he found out the truth, he kicked her out. She moved back to Tucson. She got a job at a boutique. She was living with her parents again. I did not feel sorry for her. I did not feel anything. She made her choices. She lived with the consequences. And so did I. I spent the next year rebuilding my life. I worked. I spent time with Carolyn. I fixed up the cabin. I made it a home. For the first time in a long time, I felt like myself again. Not the man who worked himself to death trying to make someone else happy. Not the man who ignored the warning signs. Not the man who let someone walk all over him. Just me. One afternoon, I was sitting on the porch when my phone rang. It was a number I did not recognize. I almost did not answer, but I did. Hello, Andrew. It was Jessica. I did not say anything. Andrew, are you there? What do you want? I need to talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. Please just hear me out. I was quiet for a moment. Then I said, "You have 2 minutes." She took a deep breath. I made a mistake. I know that now. I was confused. I was unhappy. I thought leaving would make me happy, but it did not. I lost everything. Trevor, my friends, my family, everything. That is not my problem. I know, but I wanted to apologize. I wanted you to know that I am sorry for everything. I did not say anything. I know you probably hate me, she continued. And I do not blame you, but I just wanted you to know that I never meant to hurt you. I was just trying to find myself. I was just trying to be happy at my expense. I know, and I am sorry. I sat there holding the phone. I thought about everything that had happened. I thought about the pain, the betrayal, the lies. I thought about the woman I married and the woman she became. And I realized something. I did not hate her. I just did not care anymore. Jessica, I said, I appreciate the apology, but it does not change anything. You made your choices. I made mine. And now we both have to live with them. I understand. I hope you find what you are looking for. But I am done. I am moving on. And I do not want to hear from you again. Okay. I hung up. I sat on the porch staring at the mountains. Carolyn came out and sat next to me. Who was that? She asked. Jessica. What did she want? To apologize. And I told her I did not care. Caroline looked at me. Do you mean that? I thought about it. Yes, I do. She smiled. Good. We sat there watching the sunset. The sky turned orange and pink. The air was cool. The world was quiet. And for the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. I thought about the past, about Jessica, about the 22 years we spent together, about everything I gave her, about everything she took. And I realized something. She did not destroy me. She tried, but she failed. I was still here. I was still standing. I was still moving forward. And that was more than she could say. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. Jessica got nothing. No alimony, no property, no money. The judge ruled that she forfeited her rights when she stole from me. Gregory called me when it was done. It is over. You are free. Thank you. What are you going to do now? I do not know. Keep working. Keep living. Figure it out as I go. You deserve to be happy, Andrew. I am getting there. I hung up. I sat in my cabin. I looked around at the furniture I bought, at the walls I painted, at the life I built with my own hands. It was not perfect. It was not what I planned, but it was mine. And that was enough. I spent the next few months settling into my new life. I worked. I spent time with Carolyn. I fixed things around the cabin. I went on long drives through the mountains. I read books. I watched the sunset. I was happy. Not the kind of happy that comes from having everything you want, but the kind of happy that comes from knowing you survived, from knowing you stood up for yourself, from knowing you did not let someone else define your worth. One night, Caroline and I were sitting on the porch. She looked at me and said, "You know what I love about you?" "What?" "You do not give up. You could have let Jessica destroy you. You could have rolled over, but you did not. You fought and you won." I looked at her. I did not fight to win. I fought because it was the right thing to do. I know. And that is why I love you. I looked at her. She had said it so casually, like it was the most natural thing in the world. And maybe it was. I reached over and took her hand. "I love you, too." She smiled. We sat there holding hands, watching the stars come out. I thought about Jessica, about everything that had happened, about everything I lost, about everything I gained. And I realized something. Jessica was never my soulmate. She was never the person I was meant to be with. She was just a lesson, a hard lesson, a painful lesson, but a lesson nonetheless. And now I had moved on. I had found someone who appreciated me, someone who understood me, someone who loved me for who I was, not for what I could give her, but for who I was. And that was everything. 2 years after the divorce, I got a call from Gregory. "Andrew, I have some news." He said. "What?" "Jessica is being sued by Trevor." I sat up. What happened? Apparently, she took out a loan in his name, $50,000. She told him it was for a business they were starting together, a yoga studio. He signed the papers. She took the money and disappeared. When did this happen? About a year ago. He just found out he filed a lawsuit. He is asking for the money back plus damages plus legal fees. I did not say anything. "I thought you would want to know," Gregory said. "Why?" "Because it proves you were right. She is a thief. She did it to you and now she did it to him. You were not wrong to fight back. You were protecting yourself." I hung up. I sat on the porch of my cabin. I stared at the mountains. I did not feel happy about what happened to Trevor. I did not feel vindicated. I just felt tired. Jessica called me 2 days later. I almost did not answer, but I did. "Andrew," she said. Her voice was shaky. "I need help." "What do you want?" "Trevor is suing me. He says I stole from him." "But I did not. I took that money for us for the business. It was not my fault that it did not work out." "What do you want from me?" "I need a lawyer. I cannot afford one. I thought maybe you could help me just this once." I laughed. It was not a kind laugh. "You want me to help you after what you did to me?" That was different. I was confused. I made mistakes. But this is not fair. Trevor is lying. He is trying to destroy me. Sounds familiar. "Andrew, please. I have no one else. That is not my problem. I gave you 22 years. Does that mean nothing to you? You threw those years away. Not me. You made your choices. Now you live with them." I hung up. She called again. I did not answer. She left a voicemail. I deleted it without listening. 6 months later, I heard she lost the lawsuit. Trevor won. The court ordered her to pay him back $50,000 plus damages plus legal fees, a total of $72,000. She did not have it. She declared bankruptcy. Her parents kicked her out. She moved into a small apartment on the east side of Tucson. She got a job waiting tables, the same job she had when I met her. I heard all this from mutual friends. They told me she looked tired. She looked older. She looked defeated. I did not feel sorry for her. She spent years taking from people, taking from me, taking from Trevor, taking from anyone who trusted her. And now she had nothing. I thought about calling her. I thought about checking in. I thought about asking if she was okay, but I did not because she was not my responsibility anymore. She was not my wife. She was not my friend. She was just someone I used to know, someone who taught me a hard lesson. And I had moved on. Carolyn and I got married a year later. It was a small ceremony, just a few friends. Vincent was there. My dad came down from Phoenix. Carolyn's kids were there. It was simple. It was perfect. We stood on the porch of the cabin looking out at the mountains. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and gold. The officiant asked me if I took Caroline to be my wife. I said yes. He asked Carolyn if she took me to be her husband. She said yes. And that was it. We were married. We did not have a big reception. We just sat on the porch drinking beer, watching the stars come out. Vincent told stories. Caroline's kids laughed. My dad smiled. It was the happiest day of my life. Not because I was getting married, but because I was surrounded by people who actually cared about me, people who appreciated me, people who loved me for who I was. And that was everything. I thought about Jessica, about the woman I married the first time, about the woman who left me, about the woman who tried to destroy me. And I realized something. She did me a favor. She showed me what I did not want. She showed me what real betrayal looked like. She showed me what it felt like to be used. And in doing that, she taught me what to look for, what to value, what to protect. She taught me that trust is earned, that love is not just a feeling, that marriage is not just a piece of paper. And she taught me that I am stronger than I thought, that I can survive, that I can rebuild. I looked at Caroline. She was smiling. She was happy. She was real. And I knew I had made the right choice. I had let go of the past. I had stopped trying to understand why Jessica did what she did. I had stopped trying to make sense of it because it did not matter anymore. What mattered was the life I was building now. The life I was building with Caroline, the life I was building for myself. And that life was good. We spent the next few years building a life together. We traveled. We worked. We laughed. We argued. We made up. We lived. And every day I woke up grateful. Grateful that I survived. Grateful that I fought back. Grateful that I did not let Jessica define me. I was not perfect. I made mistakes. I had bad days. I had moments where I wondered if I could have done things differently. But then I remembered I did the best I could. I stood up for myself. I refused to be a victim, and that was all that mattered. 3 years after the divorce, I was driving through Tucson on a delivery route. I had not been back to the city in over a year. I did not need to be there. I did not want to be there. But work took me there. I stopped at a gas station to fill up. I walked inside to grab a coffee. And that is when I saw her. Jessica. She was standing at the counter buying a pack of cigarettes. She looked different, older, thinner. Her hair was shorter. She wore a uniform from a chain restaurant. She looked tired. She did not see me at first. I thought about leaving. I thought about walking out before she noticed, but then she turned and our eyes met. She froze. I could see the shock on her face, the embarrassment, the shame. I did not say anything. I just walked to the coffee machine. I poured a cup. I walked to the counter. I paid and I walked out. She followed me. Andrew, she called. I kept walking. Andrew, wait. I stopped. I turned around. What? She stood there looking at me. She opened her mouth, then closed it, then opened it again. I just wanted to say hi, she said. Hi. She looked down. You look good. You look happy. I am. That is good. I am happy for you. I did not say anything. I heard you got married, she said. Congratulations. Thank you. She nodded. She looked like she wanted to say more, but she did not. I turned to leave. Andrew, she said. I stopped. I am sorry for everything. I know I already told you that, but I mean it. I really am sorry. I looked at her. I saw the woman I married, the woman I loved, the woman who destroyed me, and I felt nothing. I know, I said. But it does not matter anymore. She nodded. I understand. I got in my truck. I drove away. I did not look back. That was the last time I saw her. I heard later that she moved to Phoenix. She got a better job. She was trying to start over. I hoped she succeeded. Not for her sake, but because I did not want to think about her anymore. I wanted to move on completely, and I had. The rest of my life unfolded the way it was supposed to. Carolyn and I built a life together. We traveled. We spent time with her kids. We bought a bigger cabin. We made memories. I kept working. I kept driving. But I took fewer long routes. I stayed closer to home. I spent more time with the people I loved. And I was happy. Not because I won. Not because Jessica lost, but because I learned. I learned that trust is fragile. That love is not guaranteed. That sometimes the people you think you know the best are the ones who hurt you the most. But I also learned that I am strong. That I can survive. That I can rebuild, and that is worth more than anything Jessica ever gave me. I stood on the porch of my cabin, looking out at the mountains. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and gold. Carolyn was inside making dinner. I could hear her humming softly. It was a sound I had grown to love. I thought about Jessica, about the woman I married, about the woman who destroyed everything we built, about the woman who tried to destroy me. And I realized something. She did not win. She thought she could take everything. She thought she could walk away clean. She thought I would just roll over and let her. But I did not. I fought back. I stood up for myself. I took back what was mine. And in the end, she lost everything. Not because I destroyed her, but because she destroyed herself. She lied. She stole. She manipulated. And eventually, it all caught up to her. Trevor sued her and won. The court ruled against her. Her parents disowned her. Her friends abandoned her. She declared bankruptcy and lost everything. She was waiting tables in Tucson, then Phoenix, living in a one-bedroom apartment, struggling to pay her bills. She had nothing, no money, no property, no future. And I had moved on. I had a cabin in the mountains. I had a job I was good at. I had a wife who cared about me. I had a life that was mine, a life I built with my own hands. Jessica tried to take that from me. She tried to break me. She tried to make me believe I was worthless. But she failed. I was stronger than she thought. I was smarter than she thought. And when she pushed me, I pushed back harder. I did not do it for revenge. I did not do it to hurt her. I did it to protect myself, to stand up for what was right. To prove that I would not be a victim. And in the end, I won. Not because I destroyed her, but because I refused to let her destroy me. Caroline stepped out onto the porch. She handed me a beer. She stood next to me looking at the sunset. "Beautiful," she said. "Yeah. What are you thinking about?" "Nothing important." She looked at me. She did not believe me, but she did not push. She just stood there, her hand in mine, watching the sun disappear behind the mountains. I squeezed her hand. I thought about the past, about everything I lost, about everything I gained. And I realized something. Jessica thought she was my soulmate. She thought we were meant to be together forever. She thought leaving me would set her free. But she was wrong. She was never my soulmate. She was just a lesson, a hard lesson, a painful lesson, but a lesson nonetheless. She taught me that trust is fragile, that love is not enough, that sometimes the people you think you know the best are the ones who hurt you the most. But she also taught me something else. She taught me that I am stronger than I thought, that I can survive, that I can rebuild, and that is worth more than anything she ever gave me. Jessica ended up paying the price for her betrayal in every way possible. She lost her money when the court ruled against her. She lost her home when I sold the house and she had nowhere to go. She lost her reputation when Trevor sued her for fraud. She lost her family when her parents refused to support her anymore. She lost her dignity when she had to declare bankruptcy. She spent years working minimum wage jobs, moving from city to city, trying to outrun the consequences of her actions. She became a cautionary tale among our old friends. A woman who had a good husband, a comfortable life, and threw it all away for a fantasy that never existed. Every choice she made led her further into isolation and hardship. And me, I learned that sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It is simply moving on, rebuilding, and refusing to let someone else define your worth. I learned that the road ahead is always longer than the road behind. I learned that trust, once broken, can be rebuilt with the right person. I learned that love is not about grand gestures or perfect moments, but about showing up every day and choosing each other. And most importantly, I learned that sometimes losing everything is the only way to figure out what truly matters. From betrayal to bankruptcy, she lost it all. Jake's revenge ends with the ultimate comeback. Subscribe now for more real stories of justice served. ****